Hello friends, Rodge here, aka the Wisco Horn Dog, and you guessed it, we're back again for another Saga Thursday, your regular source for Saga, the miniatures game content. This week, no surprise, we're wrapping up our Irish battle board review with the help of my good chum, the Silver Fox, and I don't have much more to say about that. Let's get to it. But this one is the old ways. It's a melee ability. Uses any dice that you have laying around here, and any unit in this melee that has more attack dice than twice the number of models in its unit must discard any attack dice that exceed this threshold. This threshold is lowered to the number of models in each unit if the rare elk there was discarded. So that one, I'm liking that one. This seems like you're using that elk on this one. And you probably might not use it if you don't get that elk. I don't know. What do you think about that, John?
I think you do use this one all the time, and if you have a spare elk, that's good. Now, here's the thing. Remember that this thing said any unit, so this affects you as well.
Okay. So it's going to affect everybody, all the units?
All the units.
Okay.
So you got to think about what's fighting in this thing. So here's a classic example. Irish warriors ran into some Viking berserkers.
That would be a good time to use it, yeah.
That's a great time to use it. That's a great time to use the elk, and because that's really the funny part. This is typically like
if you use that elk, oh, that's a real kick.
Yeah,
in the
especially
ass.
because if you're the defender, because usually you are when the berserkers come in, you're standing there watching them come across, and they go Frigg, and they go Heimdall, and they go they sacrifice it, they go to Valhalla, and they have this pile of dice, and you just kind of like flick that elk off of old ways and say, you're gonna have to discard some of those.
Just sort of nudge it off slowly with your finger. Yeah. This is like the anti-berserker ability here for sure. But cool, yeah, this is a nice back pocket ability for being the defender. Obviously, you can see what they're going to use, how they're going to soup up their guys. It's kind of the anti all-in ability where they're like, well, am I going to use this? You could just cancel it, and I could lose, my 10 attacks. Maybe I'll just use this one ability. So kind of keeps them honest. I do like those abilities. That kind of go against the no-brainer using all of your Saga abilities in there. But yeah.
Found a lot of good mileage on this one also when you're fighting against the opposing warlord.
Yes.
Again, 5 attacks. I mean, regardless of anything else they do, discards at least 3 of them. Goes down to 2 attacks because he's just one guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is definitely super handy. And you can use any dice, so if you have uncommon kicking about, you're going to get in that fight. Yeah, that's a great equalizer. Interesting.
It's not real great. Like its best usages are going to be against the enemy's Hearthguard, the enemy's warlord, because most of the time, think about warriors. Well, they already, unless you're going to use the rare, they're not going to be able to go double their dice anyways because they have the dice cap already limiting them for that. So you're not going to get warrior fights. This isn't the best. This is great for hampering out Hearthguard and the other guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. And your mileage out of this ability is going to go back to your kind of how you construct your warband too. Because if you're running those Hearthguard, you're not going to want to be popping this ability in the combats that they're in. But if you're running warriors, obviously you'll probably get more use out of it, especially the rare ability. So interesting. Very cool. So this would hamper those little curate dudes as well.
It would. Yeah, it would.
But okay. All right, John.
Yeah.
Can we get back on track here?
Let's get back on track.
Okay.
Joe.
Why don't you? You're the engine on this train. I'm just the caboose.
I think I can. Here I go. I'm going back down to the middle column towards the bottom for she.
She.
Or as I first started calling it, Sid.
Yeah.
Is this one Sid?
That's what I said.
Yeah. No, it's she.
She.
I've been corrected by smarter people than myself to inform me of it.
Okay. Is that Gaelic? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Gaelic. They don't teach that so much here in America. So
not so much. We're not getting it.
So with she, this one is shocker and uncommon. With Irish, you got to roll quails like they're going out of style.
Yeah, really.
That's your thing.
Yeah, you definitely need them quails.
You need them. So melee reaction, and with this one, roll a die for every enemy model from one enemy unit that you're engaged against, and that enemy unit is in a non-building uneven ground. If the die roll is lower than the armor of the model, it will not generate any attack dice during this melee. Well,
cool.
Yeah, how about that? We're hanging out in the woods, and yeah, here comes your Hearthguard.
Yeah, so it's weird because the better troops are more hampered by it.
Yeah.
So it's more likely to happen to a Hearthguard or your Warlord rather than the actual warriors or even the. I'm putting in the levy.
Yeah.
The levy would do good in this sort of fight. Oh, cool. Yeah, so it's a melee reaction, so it happens before even any of the basic attack dice are generated.
Yeah. So it creates, it hampers you. It creates the cap, so it limits other abilities that your opponent might use. It happens before fatigue usage, so before the armor values go up or down. So it's just sort of a straight roll.
Mm-hmm. Before you double it. So melee reaction, can you use that like when you're going in on your turn as well?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
that's
step
what
zero.
I thought, but yeah.
Yeah.
The reaction
you
is.
can go in. So yeah, they're hiding in the woods and you go in.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
We're gonna find you. Okay. That is pretty good. So against Hearthguard, basically you're cutting their attacks in half.
Yeah, probably because it's a 4+. You got to roll under the armor. So
yeah, basically
4 or less.
Every other guy. Oh, 4 or less. Oh, yeah. I'm not good at my math stuff here. So basically 2/3.
Yeah, 2/3
of the Hearthguard.
That's right.
If it's lower, then okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, then half on the warriors, and then you could even pop this on the warlord, the enemy warlord, and they probably won't get to fight. I mean, they probably won't. They probably won't. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a really good melee for uncommon. The amount of attacks that can potentially peel off was pretty juicy.
Yeah. So we're seeing a trend when fighting against the Irish. Stay the hell out of the woods.
Yeah. I guess that is the big caveat there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to move down here, John.
All right.
I'm not going to let you stop me. I'm going blood of the kings. So this one is looking good here. We got any dice will do. It's a melee or a shooting reaction. And it can only be used on the warlord or a Kurad. During this shooting or this melee, the resilience special rule allows you to ignore 2 hits rather than 1, or 3 hits if it is an elk, a rare. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So that's like the 4th ability with that little. It's pretty good, huh? Well, what if you use a rare? It's gonna be even better.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Okay, cool. Yeah, that is pretty good for just a uncommon, or a common dice. That's a decent bang for your buck there. anytime you can just automatically add or remove dice. You're looking pretty good. Do you use this one frequently, John?
Oh, yeah. If your warlord's near combat, this is a 1+. Put the die on it if you think he's going to get in. So, and two, think scenario specific. I had the pleasure of fighting Irish in Adepticon a bunch of times, but I was lucky. I avoided them this year in the scenario that we call Thunderdome, the modified challenge ground one.
Yeah.
I had it last year, and I played the Irish, and so if you think about how you can do old ways and make that warlord have 2 hits, and then you can do Blood of the Kings to make you have double resilience, you can't do anything to that guy. He's safe every time. So it's a great defensive. I mean, most of these abilities we're seeing are defensive with the Irish. They shoot you. They have defensive melee abilities. That's. I mean, even just in regular circumstances where you get a double resilience, that's great.
Mm-hmm. Do you, you spring for the rare on this baby from time to time, John?
I can't think of any time I had a rare staring at me that I didn't somewhere else.
Okay, yeah, that's a good point.
If you had one you didn't know what to do with, that seems like a great place to put it.
Why the hell not? I'm liking that one. Yes. That basically this ability, and then we'll look at the other one, Seed of Ireland, and all the defensive abilities, just making it extremely difficult to take out those little twerpy Q-Rod models.
Yeah, those guys too. Because a lot of people will play them as, like a speed bump. They'll stick them out there and have them all. Look at me, I'm a Q-Rod. Let's fight. Don't ignore what I have on my battle board where you can't kill me.
Yeah, the first game that I played against them, that was basically my mistake. This is one guy. Seems pretty easy to kill. I don't know what that stuff is on your board, but I'm sure I'm not going to have a problem here.
It should be fine.
It should be fine. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm liking it. It's always nice to have specific warlord abilities. Not a lot of boards, maybe half the boards have a specific warlord ability. Kind of depends. But, okay. We're moving on to Blade of Truth. Sort of a diagonal jump up there. And this is a melee reaction. And it's an uncommon, another quail. So looking at some competition here. But skip step 3 of this melee. And if I recall correctly, step 3 is the place where you going to use fatigue in all of your saga abilities. Is that right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. That's the hot part of the before we roll dice, we do the cool stuff in step 3.
Yeah, that
not this time.
That's pretty good.
That's real good.
Do the Scots have an ability like this too? I ran into this once before. There was something really similar.
No.
I can't. Yeah, what?
Not the Scots. No, this is awful for the Scots, because Scots are all about doing stuff in step 3, making themselves sweet, and here we're skipping it.
Yeah, there's one other warband out there that has something similar, but yeah, skip step 3. That's pretty good. I'm thinking of the Militus Christi. They have an ability where you just cancel your saga abilities, so that reminded me of this. But
with the piety, cancel X number of saga abilities. Yeah, that's brutal. But
yeah, that's really good. But that one, you can still do your stuff. There's still fatigue that you can use. So this is basically just leveling the playing field, not letting anybody do anything. So if you're feeling good about this combat and you don't need any help from your saga board, pile on in. Yeah, this one. This one's cool. Yeah, it's another like anti. Getting your teeth kicked in one here with the old ways. So you can kind of have multiple combats you'll be shutting down here.
But
potentially if you set yourself up that way.
Right. Yeah.
So, no ifs, ands, or buts. Blade of Truth, pretty good here. Okay, John, lower right-hand corner, Seed of Ireland.
All right, here I go, Joe. Seed of Ireland. Melee. May only be played on the Warlord of the Karad. Your unit does not roll any attack dice during step 4.
Whoa.
What? Hold on, wait for it. Did we mention this is the second ability on their board that is a plus, and hey, not an uncommon. So you've used them all elsewhere, and all you just have laying around is snakes and stags because you burned all your quail.
This is it.
But here it is. So each of the enemy units engaged with your unit automatically suffers 4 hits. 3 hits if it's a Krod. So so this is played on the Warlord, 5 hits, or 5 attacks generally, 4 auto hits. Played on the Karad, 3 attacks generally, 3 auto hits. So, how about that?
That is a pretty good deal, I'm thinking there. So, you don't have to worry about buffing yourself up, which you don't really have anything besides the combat pool. So you're just like, boom, I'm just going to take the four auto hits, and that is not too bad. Kind of situational, I think. The rare, it's 2 dice, so you're kind of foregoing. So the Warlord, instead of rolling 5 dice, which you probably get, well, I guess it kind of depends what you're up against, but you probably can get 2 or 3 hits anyways, so you're really just kind of guaranteeing an extra hit or 2. But it kind of depends, if they're amped up to armor 6, obviously something like this is going to be pretty damn sweet.
You get some Hearthguard that have been amped up to armor 6. This is gonna punch him in the face anyways.
Yeah, that's pretty juicy here. So a lot of kind of automatic dice here on this board. Getting some taken away dice, just automatically given dice and hits and stuff like that. So this is pretty decent here. So do you, I guess in the the Thunderdome scenario, this will be super handy. When you're playing the game, the normal games.
I was going to interrupt, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but
I'm just rambling here.
It depends on the Thunderdome scenario. It depends because in the Thunderdome scenario, it says Saga abilities don't, your opponent's Saga abilities don't affect you. So the judges at the last Adepticon said auto hit abilities don't work in Thunderdome.
Oh, no Thunderdome for you. The seed.
So the key there is
to
convince your opponent that it does work. Don't get him to call over a judge.
Okay, I'm liking that strategy. Okay, juicy stuff there. So during the normal course of a game, do you end up using this most of the games, or?
If you can get it situationally, yeah. It seems to me to be better used on your Warlord. I don't usually feel like spending the 3 dice on the Karad, but there might be a time where it's worth it. And definitely, I feel like it's more effective when you're up against the opposing Hearthguard. It just seems like, against enemy warriors, you might do 4 hits anyway, so it's probably a waste of the dice.
Yeah, I mean, especially there was those 4 other abilities that you can upgrade to. If you use that stag on them, they're going to get marginally to significantly better, depending on which one you're looking at. So, nice to have, but certainly not the be-all, end-all. So, okay, cool. Well, we made it through the board here, John. So, what does your Irish Warband look like? What kind of troops are you going for? So obviously, you want the Kurad. So do you have to take 2 points of Hearthguard then? Because you can't just have a 2-man Hearthguard unit running around, or can
Right.
you?
You can't have a 3-man Hearthguard either. So to get a Crod, you have to take 2 points of Hearthguard. Yeah, I do that. I like so I go 2 points in Hearthguard, a point in Levy, and then the remaining 3 points in Warriors. And I usually bring a point of those Warriors as dogs.
Cool.
So that being said, I typically see the standard, like, most effective Irish Warband is 2 points in Hearthguard, 4 points in Warriors. No dogs, no Levy, no Dane Axes, everything with a pointy stick that's going to throw it at you. Usually the 2 Karods, a 6-pack of Hearthguard, and then the other 4 points in just big packs, like 10s or 12s, and they just throw pointy stuff at you.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Now, I could see why, like, the Wolfhounds wouldn't really get used. I mean, they're not going to be throwing anything, so all your attack buffs are in the shooting. So you're getting these guys that are really quick, and you're going to be killing many people with them. I mean, you have some abilities to keep them alive, but their armor is 3 anyway, so no matter what you do, you're not really going to be saving them. So, but it's interesting that the levies aren't more popular. Obviously, with the pretty much all of these would work just as well on a levy unit as like a warrior. And with the sling, you can get the the standoff at the long range as well. So interesting.
That's what I found. It's probably because the levy needing a rare or an uncommon to activate them, that's already taken away the chances of using that rare for one of those abilities. So
that's a really good point. Yeah, unless your warlord is babysitting them.
Well, even if they're babysitting, because it's a shooting ability, the warlord's only going to activate him to move. That's not going to help him. It's not going to can't activate him to shoot him. So you need that extra die to make it go off. Then you need a whole bunch of other uncommons, rares to really get the maximum effectiveness. So, like, I'll give you the one, for instance, and I like the dogs just because they're fun. I've got them.
They seem like
painted,
cool, fun. Just to zip them around and stuff.
Yeah.
If they do anything that's kind of fun and thematic.
And like if you get an escort scenario, because they move so fast through woods, you can have them do an end around, which I have seen that. I've done that in scenarios, and I end them around, and then of course they got to be able to kill one of those like super cows that are always murdering everything, but but if you can get lucky, I mean, a dog should be able to take out a baggage. That's
yes,
odds are in your favor.
One would imagine that should be possible. We should live in a world where that can happen.
I'd like to say so.
Cool. Yeah, and then as far as the Dane axes go, it's interesting. I could kind of see where there would be some appeal, at least, because you're not getting any attack buffs otherwise in melee. And, it's always going to come down to melee, typically, in the end. But then you're not using all the shooting stuff on those particular guys. So,
because those guys have, if it's 6 of the Hearthguard, you take the Dane axes, you gave up the javelin, so you gave up 6 javelin shots that can be used in these abilities. So it's not the most efficient way of doing it.
But
it's fun. Big axes are fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun, and you've got the melee abilities to keep them alive. I think better than like the Anglo Danes, I would say. The old ways, Sid. She here.
Yeah, she.
Okay, cool. Do you have fun playing these guys, John? Look pretty fun.
Yeah, I think they're fun. I think, some matchups are huge in their favor, and there's other ones that they struggle with a little bit. But I was listening to some UK podcasts, and it seems like
Northern Tempest. Yes.
Northern Tempest. Hey guys. I love to hear those guys say "Wisco Horn Dog" in with
yeah.
a British accent. That's funny. But yeah, I mean, hey, Irish are good. They're good. These abilities are good.
They're
good.
Yeah.
You get a lot of mileage out of this stuff, so it's a good warband. It really is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're fun to build, fun to paint. Which scenarios would you say that they kind of struggle with? You have to actually only melee kills count? Is that what you're thinking of?
Yeah, that's one. And that one can be really. I've had some fun games against Irish with that one because it has endless warbands, and Irish players seem to not be able to resist still shooting you some, and they kill some guys, right. And then you're like, hey, sweet. They're coming on the side now. Too bad you were standing too close to the side. Now I'm going to fight you over here. But yeah, for sure the shooting one, for sure. Like if you're playing Homeland, because the Irish, if they're attacking against houses, they got a little bit of shooting, but they don't have great melee to get you out of there.
No, yeah. See, Ireland's only going to get you so far, John.
Yeah, right. But they probably do pretty well. I mean, they probably struggle a little against the hit and run cavalry war bands, the Spanish, the Bretons.
That's true. Yeah. So the armor is lower against shooting on everything, basically, except the Q rod. So that's something that if they can outrange you. I mean, you got the Hares and Mill ability. That's probably one time you would use it.
That's only one.
Yeah.
In a cavalry, they're so fast they probably can just pick on the unit next to you.
Mm-hmm. That's the problem.
You know what they struggle against? Other Irish.
That's true. They would. Oh my gosh, they would brutalize each other. Oh, you want first turn there, or the first shots going through. It's going to be brutal. Cool. Yeah, these guys look fun. Thanks for chatting with me today, John.
Yeah, no problem. Good times.
You're a fountain of knowledge, as always. And definitely appreciate your efforts here. But you're not done yet, are you, John? We got some more war bands we could squeeze out of you.
Let's see, we're here, right? Raven's Shadow.
Yeah.
The Raven's Shadow. I don't know, Joe. What do we got here?
So the
Franks, Northscale. I've played them once or twice.
Yeah, you have gone to an event or something. You know.
I took them once.
Just worked it out. So cool. Yeah. Next time, I think for sure the challenge mechanic is something I need to wrap my head around. And I haven't got to play against these guys yet. So if I make it to Saga Storm, I want dibs, John. You gonna let me roll against you?
Sure, Joe. Sure. You can feel the pain. We'll bring it.
Okay, that's the best way to learn, I found.
Yeah, that's right.
Is to feel that pain, and then you learn not to do certain things ever again. So that is my modus operandi. So cool. Well, absolutely. Thank you, buddy, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, you're welcome. We'll talk to you next time. See ya.
See ya. And that's what we're going to call it with the Irish Battle Board Review. Big thanks to John for helping me out with this one. The Irish, certainly cagey, a well-deserved reputation for brutality. Hopefully you've gleaned a tip or two, and hopefully you're more prepared to fight against them when that time comes. If you've got any comments, please post them below. You can always hit me up on Twitter at WiscoHorndog or email wiscohorndog@gmail.com. We will chat the saga in whichever form you choose. As always, like and favorite this shit. Thank you if you've done so already. And share this video. Spread that saga word, my friends. Keep on hobby horndogging. And I will catch you guys next Thursday. Saga!